G'day guys and welcome to another one of my Digimon ReArise videos. Today we're doing a full gameplay showcase for Omegamon Zwart D, the calm version who's just been announced on the global side. As always, we'll have a look at what he does, we'll compare his stats to other Digimon, and then we'll take him into Clash Battle, the Underworld Dungeon, and of course, PvP. Let's start with his stats. We'll sort by, let's go HP first this time. These are just some Digimon that you'll see currently in the meta, and as you can see, for a blue Digimon, he has pretty good HP, 8465, which is pretty comparable to Omegamon, who's a purple Digimon, which is really, really good. Way better than the Alphamon Oryukin, who's at about 8k there, so pretty good health, good start. Now let's have a look at the all-important tech stat, and as you can see, second highest tech at the moment. Jesmon, after his buff, has 5871, and this Zwart has 5858. So he's literally 10, 15 off Jesmon. Really, really high tech stat. Compare that to Oryukin, he's at 49. So massive difference in tech there. He's going to be hitting really hard, and once we have a look at his kit, you'll understand why that's good. Defense, high for a blue Digimon, the highest so far that we have, which is good. And finally, we'll have a quick look at that. He's got 2843 defense. I'll use Oryukin as a benchmark. Wow, 500 more defense than Oryukin, so that's really good. And finally, speed. I assume this is the standard calm speed, 30. 30, there you go. The only one who's a bit higher is All Force, who has 44, because he is a speedy boy. Alright, let's have a look at his kit. Go back to tech, and here we go. Main skill, Garuru Cannon and Grey Sword. 470% damage to 3 enemies, ignores blocks, and 60% chance to make the enemies die, to give them fade, basically. 60% is crazy good for fade. He also hits quite hard. 470 is not a bad multiplier. 3 enemies, really good and solid. Main skill, ignore block is always good as well. His sub skill, 290 to 4 enemies, minus 40% crit rate, and minus 40% tech damage resistance. So that's not bad. If you don't have a support Digimon, you can pop this sub skill, decrease their crit rate and decrease their tech resistance before you use your main skill as well. His passive skill, 40% to tech forever. That's so good. If you're not running a dedicated support or a dedicated buffer, he's going to have that 40% tech. He reduces damage received to 1,000 3 times, so 3 turn, 1,000 damage limiter, and he protects blue allies from sudden death. So he counters himself, which is good because you combine this guy with any other Fade Digimon or just on his own, he's going to be inflicting Fade all over the place if he doesn't take you out in one shot. He does have some target plugins that give counter and HP. Counters, not ideal. You really want to run this guy with crit because he is such a hard hitter. Other than that, that's his kit. He's pretty cool. I like him. I used him for ages when I pulled him. I even pulled him late. I pulled him when he came back around on the JP side, and he was still a beast then. That Fade is so powerful, and there's not many things that can protect you from it, except for himself. And there's a few other Digimon that protect specific types against Fade, but it's really, really powerful status effect. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into Clash Battle, then we'll head over to the Underworld Dungeon, and finally we'll finish off with some PvP action. I'll see you there. Kicking off in the Underworld Dungeon, level 10 Rasenmon GM mode raid. I've got my Omegamon Zwart kitted out with a bit of crit, not the best plugins for him, but 66% crit. His target plugin does give him 25% counter as well. I'm running him with Jesmon. I've got Skull Satyr and Wisemon there for support, and of course I've got Gallantmon Crimson mode there for massive cooldown reduction to blue allies. So I'm really going to try and showcase Zwart D here. Let's start off unbuffed, raw, main skill, 184. It's not too bad. Let's buff him up and see if we can get him to hit a little bit harder than that. But damage limiter is really useful as well. Don't underestimate damage limiters. Always have to deal with them. You either have to dispel them. 230, not too bad a damage. Mine is skill level 10 as well. And his sub-skill's hitting 140. Fairly decent, fairly decent. Compare that to unbuffed Jess or buffed Jessmon. Whoa, that was pretty hard. 170, 110. 230, yeah, it's not too shabby, not too shabby. Remember, you don't have to buff him because he has that 40% tech at the start of turn, unless, of course, you want to get that buff a little bit higher. Definitely recommend crit for him. He's kind of one of the rare exceptions where his target plugin might not be the best option for him. I know it gives you a huge amount of tech, but that 25% counter rate is not particularly useful. Alright, we'll just finish this one off here. Oh, I nearly did. Did Zwart get the win? No, I don't think so. I'll have to finish him off with Crimson Ray. That's okay, all good. Fairly decent damage if you're running a tech team. Probably not optimal, but definitely a fair bit of damage he can output with that high damage multiplier and that tech buff that he gives himself. Not too shabby. Alright, let's jump over into the Underworld Dungeon now and see how he performs there. Here we go, Underworld Dungeon. I'm up against a level 2 burn stage. I'm running him with my standard Underworld Dungeon team. I've got my Vorphamon in there now for defense support. Sakuyamon Mikamo for cooldown reduction, status protection, or status cleansing, and heals, of course. And my Zwart D here. He's a fairly decent damage dealer. Digimon in the Underworld Dungeon, I believe, are vulnerable to Fade. However, you'll find that you're taking out the Digimon like that really quickly, and you may not even get a chance to let them survive 2 turns. Fade is not the best. Let's just check quickly. Yeah, no fade protection, so it's definitely possible. But you'll find that you're taking the Digimon out quicker than you can let the 2 turns elapse and the fade take effect. But he does give himself that 40% tech increase forever, which is really good. His damage limiter, of course, is great in the Underworld Dungeon. He has no status protection to himself or others, so you're going to need to provide that with your team building. Definitely a solid option. The damage limiter brings him from average to fairly good to pretty good, and definitely an option for you to use in the Underworld Dungeon. I might hold it there and we'll jump over into PvP so you can see him in action and we can finally see that fade working. Over in PvP now, obviously you won't be able to run this team on global, but there's definitely some subs. So I've got my Zwart D, same setup as before. Skull Satyr, you can use any support Digimon there. I've got Crimson mode for cooldown reduction. You could use Sakuyamon Miko mode for cooldown reduction. Any hard tech hitter, you could use Alphamon or Ryukin instead of Rasenmon. And a defensive support as well in my Chaos Dramon. You could run any defensive support there. Skull Greymon or Chimeramon are probably your best options at the moment for that. So you can definitely build a team similar to this. I'm really going to try and highlight Zwart D in this. Hopefully we can get some wins. Let's see how we go. Alright, let's kick it off with the main skill. Try and get as much fade off as we can. We got 2. Nice. Good start, good start. So we should take out that Zwart. I think it's a green Zwart, so he's going to revive himself here, but that's fine. Hopefully we can re-fade him. My blue allies are protected from fade as long as he's on the field, which is good as well. So we got that merciful mode with fade on him as well. It's looking pretty good so far. He's going to solo this whole team, I think. Another main skill. Oh, good damage too. Good damage. You definitely want to run him with crit. You may not even need to use that fade because you'll be hitting fairly hard with that tech buff and everything. You still hit quite hard. Ignores block as well, which is really, really useful. Good. He was really at the start there. He did a lot of damage. Fade took out a few Digimon. I'm impressed with that one. Let's jump back in again and see if we can pick up another W. Again, I'm going to try and highlight. Alright. Ooh, tough team. Really power-centric. If we can fade that Heavy Leomon, oh, we nearly one-shot him. Heavy Leomon has a super taunt akin to Craniamon, so it's good to get him faded because he can't clear that. Here we go, another main skill. Oh, massive damage. He is putting in the work. This guy has heaps of damage limiters, so I'll just clear them. there we go. Nice, he put in the work there. So if your damage doesn't get him, your fade most certainly will. Also, 60% to fade is really good on 3 enemies. You're at least going to fade one of them, hopefully. Hopefully at least fade one of them. And then if you're running any kind of defense support, you can either stall them out or continue to just burst them down and take it from there. So, hopefully this video has helped you decide if you want to summon for Omegamon Zwart D. He's definitely a great Digimon. He's really good. PvP, he's top tier. All other modes, he's mid tier, but he is a really solid Digimon. It's going to be hard to save with this guy around. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Especially if you watch more than one of my videos, you definitely should be subscribed. Let me know if you're going to summon for Omegamon Zwart D or not, if you're going to let him go. He does return, but it's not for a while. On the JP side anyway, that's what happened. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next Digimon ReArise video. Bye!